yet. I actually have just seen way too much negativity on the internet today, and I thought, I'm going to make it a positive. So I'm cooking dinner. We're making rice with kidney beans. What am I putting in there? Kidney beans, onions, diced tomatoes, heavy seasoning. And then I'm browning some grass-fed beef burger that Dad gave me. And we're going to layer in my handy-dandy little horribly heavy little casserole dish. Here's like a Dutch oven. We're going to layer a little bit of meat, a little bit of the rice mixture, a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of the meat. And then maybe some more of the rice mixture. Then we're going to put tater tots. I'm totally not going to cut my potatoes up and slice them. I'm just going to go easy and use some frozen tater tots I have. Layer of tater tots, maybe some cream and mushroom soup. We're going to see how it looks like. I don't want it to be too soupy. And then some more cheese. We're going to cook it just enough to get the tater tots done. And voila, we'll have dinner. So I just thought I'd come on here while I'm cooking dinner. And I've been working on my kitchen all day. I moved all my plants over here. And I'm fixing to move that to my bedroom so that I have more room. Or moved all the plants over here. I'm so backwards. They're all over here. And I'm fixing to move that to my bedroom. That was given to me when my great Aunt Ola died, so I'm stuck with that curio forever because I can't give it away. They gave it to me when she died. And I want to upgrade and get another pub table like the one I had a few years ago, but I'm stuck with that one right now. And, of course, I've got my cult leader tablecloth on because, you know, you got to. Oh, and for people wondering where I am in my journey, my weight loss journey, I'm here. Now, if you saw me a year ago, you'd be like, holy crap, I'm still packing way too much weight right around the middle. But, you know, for somebody that's had multiple leg surgeries, has a neuromuscular disorder, had to learn how to walk again a couple of times, and still has issues with like MS breakdowns, I'm doing pretty good. I've actually not tried to lose maybe more than a couple of pounds a month, while my thyroid has been a pain in the butt because I'm trying to give my thyroid a chance to bounce back. Let me clean this camera really quick. Oh, it had schmutz on it. It had schmutz on it. Okay, well then as someone that used to do counseling and therapy sessions, you probably need to contact your emergency contact, let them know how you're feeling, and then set up an appointment so that you have something to look forward to. And if you can't make it there, go to the nearest ER and take care of you. Because when you come in and say something like that, some people may take it as a direct threat, and you don't want to be that person. Unless you wanted me to like overreact and think you were threatening something already. I am from the Plateau in Tennessee. If you couldn't tell by my accent, I'm a retired parole officer and counselor. I used to supervise murders and do cognitive behavioral therapy with the felons. I used to help monitor the offenders and do the lie detectors and the counseling for them. I used to do independent counseling, every kind of counseling and assessments for a private company. And I was a wilderness boot camp counselor where I had a boy attack me with an axe that led to a lot of knee surgeries, a lot of weight gain. I've now lost like 120, 130 pounds and doing a lot better, but I have a neuromuscular disorder that's like MS. So some days I can't function, some days I do okay. Today's been a decent day, but this cold weather got to me. So it's taken a while for me to bounce out of this cold weather funk that I've been in. Right now we're making dinner. We're going to make kind of like I'm going to kind of follow the rules of swamp cabbage, but leave out the cabbage. So I'm making basically swamp cabbage with everything but the cabbage. Seasoning it. Going to layer it in my crock pot. Well, I call it this little crock pot because it goes in the oven. It's a little casserole dish. It's a very heavy casserole dish. We're going to do the burger mixture at the bottom, a little bit of the rice and tomatoes and kidney beans and seasoning on that. A little bit of cheese, a little bit of burger, maybe a little bit more rice. See how much room we got. Then I'm going to totally use the easiest way out and use tater tots instead of slicing me some potatoes because I'm not in the mood to slice potatoes. But I'm going to do some tater tots and some cheese on top. Might throw in some cream and mushroom soup. I don't know. We'll see how juicy it looks. Cook it just long enough because I've got grass-fed beef cooking here. I'm going to cook it just long enough to get the tater tots done and melt the cheese, and that will be my husband's dinner and lunch. I'll have a little bit, not a whole lot. I haven't ate good today, which is weird because I normally am very good about eating and I make sure I've got my protein and carbs and everything the right way. But today I've just not had I've not had an appetite. And I think it's maybe where the weather is changing and I've had this sinus crud that I'm getting over. It's been a rough day, y'all. It's been a rough day. Are you having issues with it? Is your sugar going up? I've not felt good today, and I think it's been the weather change kind of making my blood pressure spike a little bit. I really honestly think that's what it is. I'm going to take my Jeep in tomorrow. Look, I cleaned my kitchen and faux set my table. This has been a wreck in here for so long. I'm trying to get my house clean because after this next polar vortex, we're trying to get Hondo here. And I want to bring him into a fairly clean house so that he doesn't get into something that's my fault that he's getting into it as he's learning the house. You know, I don't want to make the dog do something and it be my fault because I left it out and didn't clean my house. So I've been cleaning. I'm getting there. Eventually we will have my office and stuff back in the craft room. And that's where David and me will, well, I'll craft and do my lives in there. And then David will continue doing his trapping videos in the field. But if I want to jump on and spend times with you, I'll just go in there and do a craft or something. I want to get my sewing machine set back up. Because I have one quilt top that I've yet to finish. And I've got to get it finished so I can get it quilted. Mom, I'm not going to make Mom do it. She's fixing to have that surgery probably. She's actually in Knoxville today and tomorrow having tests run on her hip. I'm not going to make her quilt it because she's running behind on everybody's gifts for this year and she's trying to get everything done before she has these surgeries. And I'll be down there. I'm down there a lot, but I'll be down there probably full time again. And Matthew's house was dried in about a month ago, and we're hoping the guy that was buying the other home that he was in when the hurricane came through, that fell through. So he might have a place to stay until they get someone else that goes into contract with it. So I'm going to be able to stay down there more. I've been displaced because my brother's been displaced by Hurricane Helene. It's the weirdest thing. But I do better down there. I have somebody that watches me all the time with my thyroid issues. It worries me. And I get more rest. I sleep better down there. So I'm trying to get everything lined back up so I'm down there more. It's harder on my nurses because it's way down in the mountain, but it's better for me. So I don't know what to tell them. It's just better for me. Hey, Simple Girl, how you doing? Oh my gosh, do they not have a program, Kim, or you can get help with it? I would call Medicare and see if they have a program to help, because sometimes, or your insurance provider, your Medicare provider, because sometimes they do. They just don't readily tell people about it, which irritates the crap out of me. There's going to be a lot of changes happen in the next year or so. And sadly, people that are disabled like me that's, been through massive leg surgeries and learning to walk again and still has massive issues and MS flares and stuff. And, I have weeks at a time I'm not doing well. It's going to be harder for us because, I can't take a second job. I can't, I'm stuck here. I have about 3 hours a day where I'm good, and then I have to kind of do in spurts the rest of the day as my legs kind of get tired. Had a really bad week spell today, and I'm thinking it's the weather going through. But it's gonna be rough because in order to sift out everybody, like there's women that get thousands of dollars a month in aid, and they've actually not been eligible. They've just manipulated things. I know they're trying to weed these people out so the people that need, benefits can get them. But it's going to be heck until they get everything sorted and figured out. And, we're all going to be kind of lumped here and there until they get it functioning better. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck. And, of course, now I've got my deductible to pay again. Well, on top of that, my Jeep is tore up. And so I've got to get that fixed. Hang on, I got to stir my rice. And, I thank God I've got a friend that she does taxes. And I was like, hey, I don't want to pay somebody like $200 to enter 3 things and then tell me I'm screwed. Would you help me? And she's like, yeah, sure, we'll do it together. So I just, I'm going to try to file free or as close to free as I can because, there's only 3 things to enter. It's ludicrous to pay somebody that much just to tell you you know, oh, the government already knew you made this much, but now that you voluntarily reported it, I don't get a kick out of that. So I try to do it as cheap as possible. And if they want to audit me, that's fine. I ain't got nothing to lie about. And I am just too busy with my endocrinologist. All these tests are running on me, prepping for probably thyroid surgery as soon as it warms up. It's just been a rough year. The last year was probably the roughest of my entire life. Perfect girl slate. I missed that. Hang on. Oh, did Sabrina send you here? Sabrina's been in like a weird world. Let me stir my stuff and get my seasons. She's been in a weird world the last little bit because, you know, it's always shocking when people you trust. I'm going to salt, pepper, and then do some special seasonings. So if y'all are wondering what I'm doing, I don't have, David forgot to bring the batteries in, so I don't have my grinders up and running yet. And then because he left at 3 something this morning, and I'll be in bed or close to bed before he ever really gets in and gets settled, and then he'll be leaving at 3 again. And so I'm not going to bug him and say, hey, you forgot that. I think that's kind of rude. I found this seasoning, and this is my second bottle. It was called Magic 7. And it is from, who's it from? Oh my gosh. I showed this when I had it. Oh, I should have worn my glasses. Anyway, this is what it looks like. It's called Magic 7. Probably if you Google Magic 7 spices. It's a family-owned company. They make it, and they're vendors at a lot of the places, you know, we go, well, David goes to sell his furs. I tag along because I get out of the house like 4 times a year. I'm not even lying. I can't go anywhere alone because I'm afraid my body will shut down in one of my little, I call it MS episodes, and then I'll be a potato somewhere where nobody knows what's going on. Kim's seen me in my potato eras. It's just really bad. But this is the best sauce. It goes on everything really good, but I use it a lot in my meats and my casseroles because it just gives a nice rich flavor. And they were not at the last festival, and I was going to get another jar, and I don't know where they are, so I'm going to have to Google and find them too, because I don't know. I've gotten so used to using that sauce, I don't know if I can function without it. Yeah, Sabrina has been in a funky place because she doesn't trust many people, just because she has been screwed over so much, and we bonded immediately. She actually comes down and stays with me quite a bit. She'll probably come back down in the late spring again and stay again. We get along really well. I feel like I've always known her. Me, her, and Kim probably don't need to be let alone loose anywhere because we probably end up needing bail money. Says the retired parole officer. That's hilarious. My rice is almost done, y'all. But when she does invest in you and she thinks that you're on the up and up, she gets really attached. And that's a good thing. Because you should, when you think you're trusting somebody, you probably should invest mostly and become attached. That's a good thing, right? We all want to do that. I'll read stuff in a minute. But then when she sees things being posted or your MO changes or you completely change your personality and she realizes it was, kind of a scam running, it hurts her immensely. Me, where I supervise felons and murders, I'm like, people will lie and do stupid things and, hurt you for a nickel, and then we've got this world where everybody just wants to be the richest and most powerful. But it hurts her. I kind of glaze over. It really does hurt her. And it's because she genuinely does care. And she's not the person you see in her videos. When she's not on video, she gears back down and she's just like anybody else. She did an immense amount of research last time she stayed with me. She was here for about 10 weeks to 2 days, or 10 days to 2 weeks. You can tell when I've had issues because I will screw up my words. I will stutter. The weather's been a butthole to me. But she stayed here about 2 weeks last time. And the amount of research she did was she listens to everything in 2 and 3 times the speed. She processes stuff just, and I can't hang on that. I mean, I'm smart, but I'm not that smart. And I always try to help her, give her a different perspective. That's how we help each other. But when she's not making her videos and not on point and on task, she can probably go, you want me to make you patty melts? She cooks patty melts, the best patty melts. She can cook anything. She just jumps in and cooks when she's here. She's just one family. And she's just a normal person. And everybody, you know, when they see her videos, they think she's not a normal, she's a normal person. And I'm just like, she's the sweetest thing ever. And we get along great. But nobody knows the real her, because you know, she only makes her videos and sends them out there. And she's not about getting to know people because she's been burnt so much. Me, I'll just kind of toss it out there. She's very structured, wants you to learn, and she's really not there to really socialize. She just wants to give you information and let you go on your merry way and grow. So, but she's been hurt a few times here lately, and I feel bad for her because, you know, we're in a timeline in this world where it's very difficult to find people you can rely on and trust. And so when you do invest in somebody and then they turn around and they're not the person you thought they were, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And when you think you understand people's motivation and then you realize they were not being honest with you, it's doubly terrifying. Oh Lord, how many people on YouTube? That would be like how many burgers does McDonald's serve a year that are actually made of beef? It'd be a lot, but it'd be hard to figure it out. Yeah, this is my only outlet, and I'm kind of the last bastion. I'm the beacon that grabs people and spits them to the Odysee platform and spits them to the information. And I'm kind of hanging out here, even though I really don't want to be here. But if I'm going to be here, we've been trying to get monetized, which they gave me monetization back. We still haven't completely figured out the AdSense thing that we're having problems with, but I told you I'm not going to let them get away with stuff. So we just wanted, you know, to toss some meals toward North Carolina. But although cold weather came through, my husband didn't work for over a month. It was like 4.5, 5 weeks because the ground was frozen. The diesels wouldn't work. It was 0 or negative here. And they dig through ditch lines in people's houses and stuff to hook them up on fiber optic. And they couldn't do anything. So the employer wouldn't lay them off. He was just going to string them along. Well, then they went to file for unemployment, but the employer did something that screwed up their unemployment, so nobody got unemployment. They're all human, and it's been rough on us lately. I mean, we pretty much take care of ourselves because last year I've mostly been down in the mountain until my brother was displaced by Hurricane Helene. And it's just been the weirdest year, and I'm up here trying to help as much as possible because he's trying to do double duty and work in the fur shed and do as much as he can. But it's been the roughest winter. Winters like this, I remember them from my childhood, but we have not had a winter like this. Normally when we have a storm, it lasts for maybe a week, and then we go back. Like today, it was 71, and it's going to snow next week. Like, get on your meds, Mother Nature. We're tired of it. But my husband has had a really rough time, and I pop on here with the monetization just to keep bringing people in. We're also getting trolled hot and heavy, so I'm doing a lot of these lives to see people's behavior so I can get rid of the people that don't need to be here. And I'd like to do these little lives where I'm not completely invested, so if I'm not talking about something important, I won't get really mad if they come in and say stupid crap. And that way I can kind of weed out the people that need to be here and the people that don't. But I can also remind you that David he added the otter hide to his Etsy shop, and the Etsy shop is www.etsy.com/shop/hillbilly heart decor. And he's got raccoon, beaver, otter. He's got some crafts that I made that I gave him to see if he could sell because he buys everything I make, so it's my way to give back. He's got some of my jewelry on there. We just have to go look, see everything he's got put on there. But Hillbilly Heart Decor on Etsy. If you ever wanted to buy something from a country bumpkin, now would be the perfect time to do it because he's squeaking. And I never have money because my retirement went to put my daughter through University of Tennessee in Knoxville. 4.0 graduate. She's great. It was more important for me to get her through college. And that's where my retirement went. Well, good investment in my child. I'll be okay. But I'm used to living on the fringe, but David is not. And this has been really hard on him because he's a worker. He doesn't know how to slow down. And if Kim's still in here, she can vouch for that. He does not know how to stop. The man works sun up to sundown and then beyond if he can. And he's been really frustrated with this boss. So, and then my Jeep goes and tears up. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see how we can figure out the money this month. Because, we're just simple people. Money is not the most important thing to me. And it's been a rough month. But like, if we actually do get a check from YouTube, though, we will do what we said, because David said as long as we can pay one bill, we'll send the rest to North Carolina. And normally it'll be the water bill, the smallest bill we have. That's still the plan. That is still, if we get a check issued, well, I say we, if he gets a check issued, that'll still be what happens. And we will show you the earnings and show you the money order that will be sent, so that y'all are, you know, we have to take out the taxes, pay one bill, the rest will go. So basically we're going to half it right now. I'm hoping by the next month he'll be able to third it. So he'll get to keep a third, and 2/3 will go to North Carolina. That's our hope, because that's what we swung into monetization for, because I don't like monetization. Not a fan of it, because it makes me feel like they've got hooks in me. David is doing okay with it. He's kind of taking the lead role of making content. And I just pop on to say howdy and kind of sift through the trolls. It's fun. Hey Sal, how you doing? If I've missed you coming in, I apologize. Oh, Sherry, I remember you said that the last time you said it too. And I appreciate you hanging out. Just watching the videos is a great help. That's like the best thing you can do. I always say don't give super chats or anything like that until we get all this figured out with YouTube, because I don't want your money to go to them. Enough of it goes there anyway, but I don't want all your money to go to them. So just watch the videos, share the channel, share the Etsy. David would appreciate that. He's a hard worker, and it's frustrating. You know, he's been through a lot. The last year, my health about freaked him out, because we didn't know what was wrong with me last year until they found everything going on in here. And so I got really sick. I lost like 40 pounds in 6 weeks, and kind of scared myself for a little while. And the thyroid medicine has helped a little bit, but I'm both hyper and hypo. I swing back and forth, so I'm very hard to treat. And so we're probably going to end up having to have surgery. And I'm not happy about that, but it would be nice to know my energy levels are going to be somewhat stable, because I'm telling you what, I'm getting tired of this. Okay, my rice is done. I'll turn that down. We're going to add in all our extra crap. I'm using canned stuff because I'm doing this quick. I just want to make something that I will have to nibble on. I can send him to work with a lunch and not feel bad. And then I can nibble a little bit, because I'm cooking his food, so I figured, you know, I'll cook it if I can have a serving. I need to go to the grocery store, and I've got to take my Jeep to the garage tomorrow before I can do anything else. I think I've got a ball joint fixing to go out. I think. We'll see what they say. I am not a mechanic at all. I've got one of these weird can openers that opens it from the side, and I have not made peace with it. But it opens it like this, and then you don't have a sharp edge. But it's harder than a mofo to get that off this thing right here, and you're going to cut yourself anyway, and I'm like, design flaw, people. In theory, it's good, but it's hard to get it off the can opener, and that's where I'm going to cut myself now. Got it. So I'm putting a whole big can of diced tomatoes. And I'm not doing the kind with garlic or oregano. I'm just doing plain diced tomatoes. I've salted, peppered, and put a little bit of that Magic 7 seasoning in here. Some onion powder, garlic powder. And then I'm going to put in a can of dark kidney beans. This is how I get all my protein in, so that I can balance and have more protein than carbs and sugar. Not ate good today, and I knew I wasn't eating good, but I did not feel good, y'all. Did not feel good. Stirring all this in. I've also got an onion diced up in there. If you have celery and stuff like that, you can also put that in there. Sometimes if I have the soup vegetables, I'll put the soup vegetables and have carrots and peas and all that crud in there. Not necessary, but sometimes I go a little overboard. Right now we're doing simple meals that stretch. So if I put hamburger in with rice, and it's gonna stretch the hamburger, and people are gonna leave feeling full. Tomorrow I'm going to make bear chili. So David harvested a bear during archery season. I only got charged. I tried. He harvested a bear, so we've got the majority of her left. So I'm going to make chili with bear meats, and it's lovely. You kind of have to know how to cook bear meat, but it's lovely. It's very nice. And I'm just trying to. I had this burger already thought out. You made beans today too. It's a bean kind of day. Isn't it hard to get that can out of that little? And I'm like, I'm going to cut myself doing this. You know, it doesn't matter that you made the top dull. I'm going to cut myself grabbing the lid to take it off there. It's so hard. I'm kind of doing a swamp cabbage without the cabbage. Almost like a rice compote that you put in a bell pepper to steam. And then I'm going to do my big casserole dish. I love this thing. It's huge. Well, it's heavy and it's way big for just me and Dave. I'm doing meat, and then the rice mixture with the kidney beans and the onions and stuff, and then I'm doing layer cheese, and I'll do the meat, maybe a little bit more rice. I'm going to keep the other rice separate so that I can mix it and stuff I want to eat tomorrow. And then I'm not going to slice any potatoes tonight. I'm done slicing. Last night I fried taters. I'm just going to put tater tots on the top and a bunch of cheese, cook it until the tater tots get done, and have a mock casserole. Easy. It makes the meat go a long way, and when you eat it, you feel full. That's what I'm going for right now, because we are broke. I stay broke, but it's very rare for Dave to be broke, but he lost so much work when all this weather came through and the ground froze, because they can't lay pipe and line under the frozen ground. They can't dig through it. So he lost a bunch of work, and he's going through a lot of savings. And we're just trying to skin through winter. It's not been this rough around here in a long time. He works so hard, and it seems like we never get ahead. Of course, we don't, even with my education, we're so far out in the boonies, I would have to drive a 3-mile, 4-mile loop to use my education. And now, since I can't do all that, he became the breadwinner. And, of course, last year we've kind of gone our own ways, and I stayed with Mom and Dad for the most part until Matthew got rerouted with Helene. And I'll be back down there. Mom's going to have surgery, so I'll be back down there. Matthew's should, at that point, have his house not under contract. He can stay in that until somebody else says they're going to buy it. He's building another one. He just didn't want to stay in that one he was in. He's building another one. Let me see if I can show you this. This is my mixture. Kind of looking like a Zatarain's dish. That's a lot right there. I'll be eating on this for 3 days, but, that's what we do. Look at all my quilts. I'm going to move that to my bedroom, but I put all my plants here, so I've got both of them side by side. I don't know if I can show you that. Oh, you're going to see. Oh, you're going to see my dishes there, but there. I've got them both side by side now. And I've been going through every drawer in this house, every hidey-hole. I'm bored. So I've been cleaning. I mean, like Swedish death cleaning. It's very good. It's very good. You like mine? Mine's kind of plain. I normally spruce things up a little bit, but we're trying to make the grocery stretch as far as we can right now. I have just enough tater tots left to top my little casserole. And it's kind of funny because used to be our tater tots did not last that long, but now since we don't have kids here, it lasts quite a while. I'm going to layer this down here. I could do 2 layers of tater tots if I have enough. Let me get my cheese. Y'all ever seen that movie, The Explorers? It's got Ethan Hawke and a bunch of those kids. River Phoenix when they were little in it. And he's like not Ethan Hawke. River Phoenix plays like a little science nerd. And he has a rat, a little mouse in a cage. My brain's not functioning tonight. And he's taught the mouse to use the keys where it presses, it says a word. And they're all down there trying to discuss what they figured out about space. And this little mouse is going, I like cheese. He's pushing the pedals, I like cheese. And they kind of wave him off. And then the mouse goes, go to hell. I watched that when I was a kid, and that cracked me up. Probably wasn't anything my mama wanted me to see, but I saw it. That was one of my favorite movies. I think I'm just going to layer my tater tots on the top. I'm going to cheese it up. Now you can also get you some biscuit mix if you don't want to make your own dough. Get you some biscuit mix, and then do like drop biscuits on the top and make kind of like a mock shepherd's pie. Or you could just get you some cabbage and make you a full swamp cabbage soup. It's whatever you want to do. I like, you know, with his job, and I try to, then it's winter and stuff, I try to force him to take something warm. And so I try to make something that's going to have some left over so that he can take lunch. And I know he's got a, it's a cooler, but he can plug it in and heat it up in the truck. And that way I know he's eating something warm. But it was warm enough today he could have took a sandwich, but he took, what did he take? Hamburger steaks and fried taters today. Okay, get you tater tots out, Liz. Good Lord. They're fighting me. Okay. I'm going to spread these out on the top here. And I just had enough to do the top. I mean, like, this is not Julia Child's kitchen. No, not at all. And turn my oven on the rest of the way up. And I'm going to put a big healthy coating of cheese over the top of this. And I'm going to cook it uncovered, so that at the very end I can broil the top a little bit. And when I saw how much the diced tomatoes had made it wet, I'm not going to put any cream of mushroom soup in it. If you think it's dry, like if you use more rice than I did, or for some reason it just turned out dry, you can put cream of mushroom, cream of chicken soup in it. It'll thicken it up. I barely water it down when I do that, but it's whatever you want to do. So this is what we have going into the oven. And it's better if you shred your own cheese, because honestly, this is basically wood chips, sawdust. But like I said, I'm using the last of the groceries. That's just what's going on in my world. We're eating a lot of deer, a lot of bear, a lot of grass-fed beef from Dad's. And I'm going to start at 35 minutes, and then we'll check it. Then I'll move over to the table in just a minute. Normally, I don't drink caffeine, but I am having a day where I think a Mountain Dew or Mellow Yellow would benefit me greatly. Not even a lie. I think I could definitely use a caffeinated drink. I did break down a couple weeks ago and order some of those loaded teas off TikTok. Not a bunch, just like you can get 3 or 4 in a trial pack that's super inexpensive. And I ordered me the trial pack, and I wish it would come in, because everybody says they're really good and they've got a lot of extra stuff in there for you. I'm excited to try them. It's not anything I can drink a lot of because it costs too much, but I wanted to try them because we don't have anywhere like that around here to get something like that. So I thought, yes, please, let me try that. Let me take this. Let me take ins over here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okie dokie. I've moved my kitchen around today, and I don't know if I like it yet. I don't know if I like it yet. Okay, I broke a sweat cooking. My hair. Yes, those were tater tots. I didn't want to slice any taters, so I went the freezer queen. I'm literally like going through the freezers, and I've got a ham in there that I got in Christmas, and I'm like, okay, buddy, it's your turn. So we're going to be having a ham here soon. We're just trying to get through everything, eat a lot of the meat we put up. So we're having bear chili. I'm making bear chili tomorrow, the next day. And so our food kind of overlaps. You'll see it for dinner and then lunch. And like if I get a full chicken, that chicken will be in 3 recipes that week. It's just the way we go around here. It just keeps haunting you. But I'm doing a lot of home cooking right now because we're just trying to clean out the cupboards while we're so freaking poor right now, because all those winter storms, they wouldn't let them go out in the sub-zero temps, and even if they had told them they could go out, the trucks wouldn't have worked, and they couldn't have dug through the frozen ground. So, but I think they have fussed with the employer, and he's like, okay, next year I'll lay yins off, because we can't go through this next year. And then everybody filed for unemployment, but he did something that screwed up the unemployment, so nobody got unemployment. Oh, and my one neighbor
her son got out of prison. He's not even looked at me sideways. I don't blame him. But he's over there trying to fix a vehicle, and there's been so much traffic. As soon as he got out of jail, he just went right back to peddling dope. That is good. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at my little rooster napkin rings. They're carved out of wood. I got these like 6 years ago. The niche lady found them somewhere in Las Vegas, put them on her shop. There were 8 of them for $18, shipping and all. That was so cheap. My grandmother had some like this. And I remember because I would take them off the napkins at Christmas and stick them onto the Christmas tree, and I would promptly get a whipping because my grandma sold home interior and her house was a show place, and she would be missing her napkin rings, and then her granddaughter had crammed them onto the Christmas tree, and she wouldn't notice it until she had a home interior party or company, and she hated that. But I remember doing it even though I knew I was going to get a whipping. I love to irritate Grandma. I love to irritate Grandma. So when I saw these, I was like, I have to get them. I got 8, and then when my daughter moved from college to southern Georgia with her job, now she's married, got twins. She had been eyeballing them. She wanted Grandma's cranberry beads off the Christmas tree, and she wanted my roosters. And I said, no, I'll split them with you. So she took 4, I've got 4. I did give her the cranberry beads because they were supposed to be passed down. So I lost a lot of stuff as my kids married and moved out. Some stuff I didn't know it was gone until I went and looked for it. And I was like, oh, yes, I donated that. Those are cute. Yeah, she's a super sweet lady. Yeah, I love these. And they're hand carved. They're so nice. Hand carved, hand painted. I think they're so cute. And they look just like Grandma's. They might be just a hair wider than Grandma's were. But I would take them and just push them onto her Christmas tree, and I'd be like, hey. She'll find them in 2-3 hours, and then she'll be so mad at me. But she kept her house like a show place. I'm more of the cabiny, rustic, lived-in home. But I do mock set my table when it's not piled from crafting. I do try. Really? I want one. I've got, Grandma left me her rooster collection. They're up there on my shelf above the window. But I don't have one of those. I do have, and I can't reach it. It's one of the hand-blown glass roosters. And it's gorgeous. I may try to get David to set it down one day so I can show it to you. It's gorgeous. Grandma left me her roosters. And so I've got her roosters. But the funny thing is when she passed, everybody's like, Elizabeth, what do you want? And I said, I want her dish rags. And they were like, you want her dish rags? And I said, yeah, because I'll use them every day and I'll think about her every day. And I still have a couple of them floating around. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. But that's my mentality behind it. I want something that will make me think about them. And I wasn't even going to go pick through the house or nothing. The daughters and everybody went through it. And I was just kind of not even worried about that. And then Grandma had left me a whole bunch of her rooster stuff because she knew I was the crazy one about roosters. So my kitchen is in John Deere tractors and roosters, in case y'all wondered. My first mother-in-law, I had a 6-year marriage. My first, that was just a stupid time frame in my life. But my first mother-in-law had a ornamental fowl farm. We always had chickens and turkeys and peacocks and geese, but she had them that she sold, and it was annoying. There was never a quiet moment around that house. It was always drove me nuts. Of course, I was pregnant for the most time, and I was very irritated, just easily irritated at that time. So I was going to try to darken this up again, but it's calming itself down, so I think I'm going to leave it. Because normally I do this, and then I do a little wash with just like a $4 brown, and then I'll go back with another brown like a week or two later, and it'll turn out basically the color I want, a little bit muted. But this is calming down really good, and I like the color because I'm so translucent. It looks good with my skin color. So I'm going to just let it do its own thing. Not going to worry about it. I did do one slightly brown wash on it because I'm so gray up here. It looks fluorescent. If I don't, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I'm just going to let it be. That's like, I do my own hair. I don't really go to the salon a lot. But I like it. I'm cool with it. And I ordered me a closer ponytail bun thing so that it would match. Oh yeah, I use the feathers in dream catchers and stuff. I've got so many people that pick up feathers for me, and I love them to death for it because they're so expensive. So I really appreciate my friends that do that for me. I've got a big bag of them right now. I put them in a salt bath and just leave them in a Ziploc in a salt bath. And if they need to be fluffed or extra cleaned after that, I'll sort them out. But normally the salt bath does it. So salt bath and a good toothbrush. And you just want to kill anything that's in them. You know, it's not a huge process. Yeah, when I do that, I do a really bright red and then I go back with a brown wash. So it kind of looks like your natural hair when you're out in the sun and stuff. I've perfected it over the years. I used to do this with a more of a mulberry color and a brown, and it would have like almost a deep purple, and that was my color. It was not super out there, but it was very pretty. That was my color when I worked at the state. That was my hair color. But this is closer to what I was in high school. I was the same color as my limousine heifer that I showed. She was just copper orange. So this is closer to my natural hair color. But after I had my son, and of course, he's a flaming redhead. After I had my son, my hair darkened up. And then, of course, I started going gray around just right through here. And it just changes your whole hair. So I just decided, hey, we're just going to color it. And I'm sick of it. It was just becoming a color I'd never seen before. And I was like, nah, we're going to color you. We use that to dye David's traps, and I've thought about it, but then I'm kind of scared too because I see what it does to my hands when I help him dye his traps. And I'm like, maybe not. We've used it to dye other stuff too. He used it to dye a netting one year so he could put it up for a blind. You never know what we're going to do in the backyard. You don't. Mine is just gray right here, Annette. But when I put color on it, buddy, it looks flaming. It looks, massive hot roots up here. Even if I just leave it on for like even 10 minutes less than the rest, it's just so hot right here, even when I do it last and take it off first. And it's just the gray, the way it goes in. So I have to give it a couple of days, then I go back with the brown. And then if it doesn't tone it down enough, I go back with another brown. But I use those very cheap browns. So I stockpile them when they put them on sale at Walmart, put a couple in the closet. I'm not going to spend much money. And I just kind of make my own concoctions. But I did this color the summer before last, and I liked it. And I didn't mute it down a lot that time either. So I knew it would be okay. But I really thought I was going to put more brown on it. But it's okay. I'm going to let it. I'm not going to say that, although we do have a man in this town with that name. We had a costume class at the Saddle Club show one year, and this lady had a dapple gray horse, and she wanted to look like she was on a unicorn, and she was all in pinky purple, and she wanted the horse to be pinky purple. She dyed that horse with pokeberry beads. I don't know how long that horse was purple. I don't know how many rains it took. But he was purple. And he was pretty, but I don't know how long it took her. Now, my sister-in-law has a mare, a really nice quarter mare. And when she put her on the halter class, she'd get out in the field and get sunburned a little bit, and she was jet black. So she wanted to put her in some of the really nice halter classes and really win some money. We would have to go get black hair dye and dye that horse. And we've done that many times. She's now 34. That horse is now 34 years old. And if the weather will fare up, I'm going to try to go do some pictures with her. It took him about 5 years ago because we didn't think she'd make it much longer, and she has. So I'm going to try to do another round of pictures for her if I have a good day when the weather fares up and catch her, hopefully, before anything happens. But she still looks good for, she's thoroughbred too. She's quarter thoroughbred cross. She was bred for the racetracks. I don't know how she's made it this long, but she has. And she still looks pretty good to be 34, I'm here to say. She's starting to lose a little bit of weight, and she's not. Her body's not pulling nutrients out of the food like it used to. And so we know we're on decline, but she's not in pain. She's still froggy. We just know that her body's not functioning tip-top shape. So I'm going to try to get one more round of pictures with her so she has some memories of her. But she's had that horse. When she got her, I let her keep her in my barn because she didn't have a barn. So we always were bunked together. She always had at least 1 to 2 horses in my barn. And even after I went to college, she kept her horse in the barn. I was like, just use the barn, just keep it clean. So we rode together since we were teenagers. And until I had all the leg surgeries and gained all the weight, we rode together. The last horse I trained at was a 2-year-old. He was sweet. And then after my knee surgeries, I sold my Poco Bueno gelding and had so much trouble with the surgeries. And then I gained all this weight, was diagnosed with a neuromuscular issue. Just had a lot of health problems, had several surgeries in a row. And it was part of that disorder. We didn't know it, but it was that disorder attacking my body. And now I'm just so weak. Like I never know if it's going to be a good day, a bad day, if I'm going to struggle, if I can walk good, if I need a walking aid, if I can get to the barn, if I can't. And so when Haley went to college, we started selling everything. So my big horses, sold the little pony mares that I bred to the jack. Then we sold the jack, and then we sold Haley's little mare that she rode when she went to college. We just kind of found everybody a new home. And I let people use my pasture because I'm not going to use it. So, and my barn is fixing to get loaded up with hay for my sister-in-law. I'm not using it. We're wanting to run a steer over there, but that'll be next winter if we do that. So, but it's got to be something that I don't have to take care of because I don't know if I can always get over there and do it. When I have bad days, my body doesn't function. And I never know when it's going to happen. It's so frustrating to have like 3 good days and then not be able to function. It's frustrating. You can call her Mimi. You can call her Mimi, like from Cleveland. What is that show? It was Cleveland Rocks. What is it? Drew Carey show. That's it. That was way too obvious. Call her Mimi. That boy over there has been working on a car, revving it up, making all this noise, peeling out down the road. And I'm like, the only person you're going to hit is one of us. Go somewhere else. But he's just maybe a week out of jail. He did like a 2 or 3 year sentence with his time deducted. So he did like 10 or 14 months. It's been so quiet. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And his mama threatened me when he was always going to come out and whip your ass. Okay. He didn't even look my direction. I've opened the door and looked at him like when he's revved that car and made just noise that was not necessary. And he'll turn it down, quieten down until he gets brave again. But he's not even looked my direction. So, but he's annoying the holy bejesus out of me with his little, what he's doing is he's looking like he's working in the driveway, but there's been multiple vehicles come in and he went right back to selling. And so I'm like, listen, we know what you're doing. But I guess he thinks he's being covert. Maybe we should tell him. Did you see? Okay, there's a TikTok. Oh my gosh. And I'm not really big on TikTok, but I had to check this out. And I can't remember the name of the page. There was a guy put a trail cam, one of those satellite cams that has the low jacket. It'll tell you where it is and it keeps working, but it's undetectable to whoever steals it. David has some of those. He put it out on his farm. And this guy came over and stole it. Well, it alerted him when the guy got in range. He watched the man steal it, and he was like, So he contacted law enforcement. They don't know the guy. They're trying to zero in the location, but he said, let me have some fun. Well, the guy set the trail cam at his house. He doesn't know it's still functioning. The guy's turning TikTok into a show about the criminals that stole a trail cam. They don't know they're all over TikTok and everybody, the jig is up. But it's hilarious. And so I guess they're fixing to go and take the trail cam back and serve him before he come into court for theft. But it's funny because he's made a bankroll off these people, and good for him because they stole his property, but it was still working. They didn't know it was one of these highfalutin trail cams. It's great. It's just great. And then there are four little boys that are just building a tree fort and a bridge across a creek. They're just being children. Hallelujah. And everybody's watching those TikToks. And it's great. And I'm like, yes, this is what children should do. This is how children should behave. We're seeing reality here finally. And I'm like, hallelujah. And the kids they're starting to get donations, and they're going to do a lot of charity and stuff, but they're going to buy new tools, like a new rake because theirs is almost broke, and a new shovel. But they're not wanting anything big. They're wanting to make it all out of everything in the woods that they find. They just want shovels and rakes and tools. And I just thought it was so sweet because they're all super dedicated to this fort in the woods they're building. It's so great. Karma is real, and I'm just waiting. I've got my popcorn in my front row seat. I'm just waiting. Just waiting. Oh, goodness. But this boy over here, bless his heart, he got down to about 85 pounds with his addiction. I've tried to send him multiple times to rehab. I had him set up with a diesel mechanic college that would give him an apartment. He's a very talented mechanic, even when he's just acting like he's being a mechanic. He could have had a much different life. And he's just set back like an old mule every time we've tried to help him. And so I finally said no, because then he would come over and demand help. And I was like, no, that's not how this is done. So I'm done. He and his wife, they're separated now, lived in their car for a whole winter. And my fear was that we were going to wake up and they would have overdosed in the car. And they're not even my family. They're hers. But I was the person that had that fear. That was a lot of stress on me. And of course, I'm home alone most of the time. So when they would get on their antics and use their dope and get crazy, I would have to go on the porch and be like, shut up, take it inside. I don't want to hear it. Stop. And they would be like, F you. And I'm like, cross the fence, boy. And then they take it inside. But I have to be that barrier because they just get completely out of hand. He was going to whoop her up one day. And I said, boy, I wouldn't do that in the eyesight of somebody as big as me. And so he stopped. But when he got arrested, they had to arrest him with a canine unit. And then he fled. They had to stick the canine on him. He had a stolen pistol on him and a bunch of drugs. And it's frustrating because I've been telling the cops for months, yeah, he's selling hot and heavy, Here's the car, make, model, tag number that's coming routinely to buy. And they wouldn't do anything until it became a problem for them. And then they wanted my help. And I was like, he's at his mom's, but I'm not helping his anymore. They did get him arrested, though. And he got mad at me. So right after he got arrested, the first day, it was right after Thanksgiving, he got arrested. The first day after Thanksgiving, the day we went back to work, his buddies came and climbed on my roof and stomped around. They thought they were going to scare me. I went out with nine in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. And I said, I got hollow points for everybody. They fell so hard off my roof, they about broke my window when they hit the air conditioner. And the cops did not believe me. They were running. I was like, I was going to share my hollow points. Come back. They left. I had my phone tucked under my bra strap, and I told Kim, if you hear 9 shots, I only have 1 more. Disconnect and call 911. I was trained for all this stuff, so it's fine. They fled. They were hiring a cat too. They were just little mean buttholes. They might weigh 115 pounds each. I could snap them like a twig. But it frustrated me. The deputy that came out did not wanted to do a report, because you always leave a paper trail if somebody's doing that to you, so that if you have to defend yourself, you have a paper trail. Well, the deputy didn't believe me until he got over there and he saw the boot tracks that were wet going up the siding. And I said, yeah, if you think fat me got up there to do that, you need to go back to the police academy. He was like, well, gosh darn it. I said, yeah, they were on my freaking roof. And so then the lady that lives across the pasture over the swag over there, while he was in jail, they got her to be my butthole neighbor. And so she would get high on meth, and she is notorious. She's got a whole, and I know way too much because I used to work, I used to supervise felons. So I know everybody's business. And I try not to get in everybody. I'm just like, I know who you are. Just leave me alone. I'm retired. Just leave me alone. Well, she decided she would get out when she's high on meth and shoot at my house and cuss me out and yell at me. And so I had called the law. They would hear the gunfire. They would hear the shots. The dispatcher say, yeah, shots fired, be careful. They would drive through at 35 miles an hour and say, we didn't see anybody. Well, if you do it 35 miles an hour when she's hiding in the woods, you got some good eyesight, son. How about you slow down and deal with her? But they were too much of a pansy. And they kept saying, well, we can't do anything if we can't catch her. Well, stop and listen for a gunshot. She's firing about 3 times. She'll do it in spurts, but you're going to have to stay more than 5 minutes somewhere. Just pull in my house and chill. You'll hear her. She's coming after me. She get right down on my fence line and cuss at me and shoot at my house. And she said she was going to kill me. And I was like, you better be a good shot. And if you don't remember, I put the phone on the back porch. I hear David coming in. I put the phone on the back porch to live stream it. And I told the cops, you better show up now because I got proof. And so they all swarmed her. It took 5 to arrest her. And she had a long barrel 22 that night coming after me. All in a day's work. Can you get in? Let's see how long it takes him. But he made it in. Woohoo.
Yeah, I would if I didn't have my arms freaking full.
Oh, he's got his arms full of mail. Oh, I guess I can help. It's nothing breakable. There you go. Thank you.
Nora's coming home.
Okay.
The door's locked.
Well, I keep the door locked because there's been so much traffic over yonder. And I was cooking dinner. I can't watch it. Oh, my goodness. This is finally getting to a temperature you can eat it.
Yes.
I've got 11 minutes left on the stove, y'all. And then I'm going to have to disconnect. You remember that? Yeah, that was fun. The video's still up if y'all want to go watch it. The wrench means they're a moderator. So they can block people that get nasty and stuff like that. There's only tots on the top. So I probably won't eat it anyway. I'll probably just eat part of this and put a lid on it, put it up. Yeah, that was an eventful winter. Like she'd wait for David to go to work and then she would shoot all evening. She'd normally get wired up between 10 and 1 a.m. You couldn't sleep. You couldn't function. She'd shoot during the day. What worried me was it was starting to warm up. And there's a bunch of families over there, little kids that would play in that little neighborhood. She had been going to other people's property with a gun in her hand. They were terrified, but they wouldn't say anything about it. And I said, unless y'all do a report, they're not going to do anything about it. They were too scared of her. And I said, what else can she do to you? Don't you want to stop it? And but I had to get on. The DA here, the state's attorney here, is someone that used to be a public defender in one of the counties that I used to supervise in. Useless as tits on a boar hog. And he was like, oh, now, Elizabeth, you can handle this better. And I said, no, I'm retired. I shouldn't have to handle this. I shouldn't have to put up with this. I shouldn't, And he was just really didn't want to do anything about it. I said, we still running the Hug a Thug program. She's got like a 30-year track record of being a dopehead. When she starts slinging lead, I think we should be done with her. But they didn't really want to do anything. It was very frustrating to know the law, know how it should be applied, and then have them not want to do anything about it. Had to call the DA, who I also worked with. He kind of got onto him and made him pep it up, but they still were hard-pressed to do anything. It was just when you know how it's supposed to go and it doesn't go that way, it's very frustrating. So, but she has since calmed down because she knows that I don't care for her and that I'll send her back to jail. And so when she wants to go have fun, she goes elsewhere and has fun. So she's not there most of the time. Yeah, my nurse was terrified. My mom came one night, and she started shooting, and Mom was scared to walk to her car. And so I had to go outside and scream, put your daggum gun up and go in your house. But mom had to do a report too because she got hemmed up here for like 2.5 hours, was scared to leave. And she was like, "You need to come home with me." And I was like, "No, if she shoots the house, I need to be here." It was just bad. Last 2 winters been rough. The weather's been rough this year. Last year it was all about the crazy person. So, but this is our little town is getting more and more dangerous because it just seems like the justice system is not working, and they don't want it to work, and they don't want to punish anybody. They just want them hooked into the courtroom circle so they get their money every year from them. It's very frustrating. Very. But normally people don't bug me too much. But when he gets out of jail, there's been like 7 different vehicles here one day, and a blue like Corvette looking thing that's brand new sports car comes, and they peel out all over, like they're Bo Duking it all up and down the road. Nobody that I know can drive like a $70,000 sports car and not work. So it's kind of like, man, don't bring those people back around here. We just got rid of them. But just like a bunch of fleas. She loved the way I put things, just a bunch of fleas. Well, my stuff is about to be done. I'm going to get it out, get him fed, and get my dishes done. I've been trying to kind of watch what Sabrina's doing, and there may be a chance that maybe tomorrow or the next day, I've got to go have my Jeep worked on tomorrow. I don't know what time frame I'm looking at tomorrow, so it may be Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to try to supplement what she's talking about in my way so that you get half of it there in a different perspective here. That's what I'm going to try to do if everything goes well. If I don't have a stroke from what my Jeep's going to cost to be fixed. Not looking forward to that at all. Oh my gosh. I think it's a ball joint. I don't know that. I'm not a mechanic. That's just my educated guess. And I'm not very educated in that. But I'm wanting to supplement what she's teaching so that y'all get a different perspective and just a well-rounded, I say always try to find 3 or 4 different perspectives to something when you're learning about it so that you can kind of look at it from everybody's point of view. And so when people come at it from a different angle, you don't get upset or defensive. You go, oh yeah, I looked at it from there too. I can see how you understand that. And it's just better. I say you should always have friends that cover your blind spots. You don't want everybody that thinks just like you and says things just like you. You want friends that are different, that look at things differently so they cover your blind spots. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at trying to do. I do it sometimes, and sometimes I don't even know what she's talked about, and I end up talking about it too. But right now I'm watching her videos. I know she's been through a emotional time the last couple of weeks. And so I'm watching the videos, and I don't know who, was it Rumble? Who did the thing where they put the poop icon, and it's hilarious. Like she was watching it, sending me a voice message, and she was cracking up. Like she thought that was great. It's hard to offend her unless you manipulate and lie about your intentions, and then she gets upset, but she's okay. But I try to balance her out. So when she teaches something, I try to teach up here, and everybody gets a balance. So that's what I've been watching. I've been thinking, doing. I've got a short that I'm going to upload here in a minute that might give you a different perspective on something that everybody's upset about right now, the whole McDonald's fiasco and the rabbi that they interviewed and everybody finding weird stuff in their burgers. I want to tell you a whole different thing about McDonald's that you should have picked up on, and that if you had watched the government lawsuits and a lot of the patents and a lot of the contracts with farmers, you would have probably seen it a long time ago. I don't eat a whole lot of McDonald's. I might get an iced coffee every once in a while. I don't know the last time I've been to McDonald's. I don't know the last time I've been to McDonald's. I don't eat a lot of fast food anymore. But I'm going to do a short that will show you a different side of McDonald's that if you've been watching, you would have been like, oh crap. So whether the other stuff is true or not, I found out stuff that was true. And I was like, yeah, I just don't think I'm going to eat there anymore. I'll upload it as soon as I get done here and get my dishes done. I will upload it. So if you see a short come up, you know exactly what it is. Until then, fast food it's never been a real, I like we've got a really good Mexican restaurant here. The family came up here, settled. We love them to death. We've got a good Chinese settlement here in town, a good Mexican. Well, she was the prom queen and the senior attendant. She was, I mean, everybody loved her. She's gorgeous. A really good family, really good family. And the Chinese families here, they started the restaurant and they actually bring people out of China and get them here, get their citizenship, set them up. They're wonderful people. He loves to fish, and he passed away about 4 years ago, and like the whole county mourned him. He was just a really nice guy. And but the rest of them, they're still here and great people. We don't have a problem with people that settle here for the right reasons. It's the rich, condescending, arrogant transplants that raise our property taxes but offer nothing to our area and then walk around like this. And we have a problem with those. But we've got a really healthy population of, I mean, we've got a very diverse population. People think that Appalachia is just all white. No. We've got a little bit of everything hiding in these hills. And we're okay. If you want to hide here for the right reasons, we'll hide with you. But it's been like people moving here from California and Colorado and New York, and it's been like, you could have left your attitude at home, you know. That it's hard sometimes, especially when we've had like 2,500 people in the last like 5 years move in. It's been rough. Yeah, well, I never have cared for much of McDonald's. And like I might get an iced coffee or something, just a basic, something that surely they can't poison me with. It's just never been something I liked. But once I found this out, I was like, no, that's okay. I had a friend that, due to chemicals that her father, who was a farmer, used, she actually developed a brain tumor and had brain cancer, and it really caused her a lot of grief. And so I became very sensitive to everything like that. And so I started paying a lot of super close attention to farmers and the new chemicals and certain contracts they had with some of the bigger restaurants and stuff. And you just notice these things. I just like to read endless amounts of information that I should go on Jeopardy. Sabrina should go on Jeopardy. Maybe we could do a Jeopardy. Oh my gosh, that's a thought. If you have a question you have always wanted to ask Sabrina, when this loads and you can leave a comment, leave it in the comments as a question for Sabrina, put your question. And maybe I can put them in categories and kind of twist it to turn into a weird Jeopardy game and get her to come on and do another live where we can do a Jeopardy game with her and just turn it into something fun, see her in a different perspective. She's pretty good about coming on my channel with me. She doesn't do a whole lot of, she does with juxtaposition a little bit, but she doesn't do a whole lot of interviews and stuff, but I probably can get her to do that. That would be really fun, actually. And it doesn't have to be about the stuff she said. It could be any question as long as it's nice. Don't ask a rotten one. Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? And then Jens could meet her in a different format. Because I know the person that stays with me and cooks me patty melts. And when she leaves, she'll leave stuff hidden all over the house for like a week after she leaves. I'm finding stuff. And she does it on purpose so that it's a game. She does it every time. So every time she leaves, I'm finding stuff. She'll hide it like between the mattresses. She'll roll it up in a pillowcase knowing that I'm going to strip the beds and wash everything and straighten everything up. She'll leave it. She left one necklace on the shower head. She left some stuff in a sock drawer last time. She left some stuff inside of a book. She's just really good at what she does. She loves to do that when she leaves, and it's funny. I always look forward to it. So yeah, it's very sweet that she puts the energy into doing that so that when she's not here, I'm still thinking about her. That's really sweet. And it's kind of, it's funny. It's her thing now. I always look forward to it. I hate to see her go, but I'm like, I'm still going to have a week of finding stuff that she left for me. And then I have to call and go, where's everything else? Because I apparently am not going to find anything else. And then some of the places that she'll put stuff, I'm like, wow, it would probably take me 8 months to find that. So, but she's fun. So if you really, I've got enough thimbles. I should try that. So when this loads and you can come back and leave a comment, think about it for a while. If you have a couple, 3, leave them in different comments and I'll write them down and see if I can talk her into that. That'd be good for her just to calm her down and make her focus on something else for a little bit and get her out of the research bubble she's in and give you something fun to ask her, stuff that you've always wanted to know that you've not been able to ask her. I think it'd be hilarious. Let's do that. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to dip him out some dinner and wash my dishes, and then I'll come back in a couple hours and look for the comments. I will be uploading the short as soon as I get done with the dishes so you can learn a little fact about McDonald's other than what they're all talking about right now. YouTube's yanking my chain. Then we'll get that figured out and get that set up. That will be really fun though. Okay, before it tries to disconnect me again or reconnect me, I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all have a great night and pray for my Jeep tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next couple of days. We'll get together and do something. Hopefully, I'll be doing another craft. So, preparation for the next snowstorm. Y'all have a great night. Bye.